Hey, what's going on? Welcome to FCRB TV, and it's kind of like the weekly wrap up from World Football from yours truly, the mastermind behind FC Red and Black's Perrick Bella. So I had promised that I would have a video after Arsenal's trip to Sweden against Östersund in the Europa League, and honestly, that wasn't really interesting because if Arsenal were to have lost that game, oh man, it would have been horrible. But never thought they were going to. Got to watch the game late because it came on while I was at work, and as I watched it on tape delay, it was quite boring. They threw all that they had at Arsenal, but Arsenal's too big of a side to be worried or threatened by a side of such a minnow. You know what I mean? So. Danny Welbeck was not impressive at all. I think Mesut Ozil obviously wasn't in full gear, and he wasn't going all out, and neither was Mkhitaryan. But it was a good run out. It was nice to see Nacho Monreal score again. The guy's on form. I read online somewhere today actually that. Another Arsenal fan is kind of worried that Kolasinac isn't getting a lot of minutes at the moment, and even though he came back from injury quite for some time now, he hasn't been getting in. But it's like, mate, the best left back in the world's keeping him out, Nacho Monreal. So it's not even Said's fault. It's like, mate, this guy Nacho is on form right now, so you can't. So nobody can get him. He's better than Marcelo too. Yup, I said it. Yep, right now, yes he is. So Arsenal will clearly go through next week against Östersund. They will knock them out, and then it will be interesting to see who we draw in the next round. Napoli were dealt a huge blow at home to Red Bull Leipzig of the Bundesliga. And that kid, Timo, the striker, man, this kid is dope, man. The young German kid, he's good, man. Timo Werner, man, is so good. Oh, my God. So, yeah, they lit up Napoli, so that's one big dog out. But I tell you what, I wouldn't want to see Leipzig in the next round. No thanks. Milan took care of Sturm Graz. I wouldn't mind Milan, because they're still trying to find their way, and maybe we can get the scalp there, So Milan took care of Ludogorets. That's it, Sturmgras, Ludogorets. And who else played? Atletico came back against Copenhagen. They will go through. I don't want to see them either. Who else was there? Dortmund came back to win 3-2 against Atalanta. Atalanta was balling. But Batshuayi scored twice. He's on form out there. It was a good match day in the Europa League on Thursday, and you're going further back in the week. The Champions League games. I got to watch obviously PSG Real Madrid, and who else did I get to watch? I can't even remember. But I tell you what, that PSG Real Madrid game, I'm not even going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it because if you watch the game, you already know what happened in that game. You already know. I feel bad for PSG. Actually, I'm not going to touch it because I'm not trying to burn any bridges. But if you want to know what happened in the PSG Real Madrid game, you need to just check out what the president of PSG said after the game. He summed it up quite well, actually. So, yeah, they lost that game 3-1. That was a tough result for PSG. So they're up against it, the second leg return into Parc des Princes. I'm trying to think, what was the other game that I watched? Oh, yeah, we watched Juventus and Tottenham. Ugh. Juve had it. But here's something that young players need to take a look at. In that Juve Tottenham game, Juve were up 2-0 after like 10 minutes. Tottenham fought back to make it 2-1. Then Douglas Costa makes a phenomenal run. He takes on Serge Aurier, and he also blew by Davinson Sanchez. Put the afterburners on him. Gone. And then Aurier tracks back and commits a foul in the box. Penalty. Now, Higuain has already scored twice, mate. He's on the hat trick in the first half, yeah? He takes this penalty and tucks it. It's 3-1 to Juve at the J. And I'm sure they'll see it out. My man missed it. My man missed it. And for all the good stuff that he did in the first 10 minutes to score the brace, my man missed the all-important third goal to give his team a cushion. And with that not able to put that penalty away, Tottenham kept fighting. And, I tell you what, Tottenham looked like a side that, and mind you, I'm an Arsenal man. I'm a Gooner, so I'm just being honest here. Tottenham looked like they had more legs and they looked more pacey than Juve. Juve came out the blocks fast, but after about 15 minutes, Tottenham were after them. They were really getting after them, putting Juve on the back foot. Juve really couldn't find the pace again, and then they scored the free kick through Eriksson and ended 2-2 draw. So that return leg, at Wembley is going to be quite interesting. I still think that Allegri will come up with something. At least I'm hoping he comes up with something, because we can't have Tottenham winning. You know what I mean? So yeah. So it's going to be a tie that's it's hanging in the balance. It could go either way. And then this coming week we've got Barca's going to the Stamford Bridge to take on Eden Hazard and take on Olivier Giroud in Chelsea. That should be interesting. Nah, it won't. Barca's going to bust him up. Barca's going to give it to him. So that's the wrap up. There's FA Cup games this today and tomorrow, but obviously my Arsenal is out, and my club FC Red and Blacks, all the lads, they have the weekend off. There are no matches this weekend, so I've just been relaxing, doing some other things, watching the Juventus documentary on Netflix, which is quite good actually. I tell you what, the president and the vice president of Juve, Andrea Arleni, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, I'm sorry, but the owner of Fiat and Chrysler, yeah, he's the president of Juve, and he's the real deal. You wonder why Juve stays winning. He's a real deal. And then their vice president is Pavel Nedved. Now, if you look at these two guys who are running Juve, then you stop and take a look at the two guys who are running Arsenal. You've got Kroenke and Ivan Gazidis. Mate, we're way off the pace. It's comical when you see what Juve's got going on and see what we're doing over at Arsenal. It's a joke. It's a joke, man. We're lucky Wenger's been there for 20 some odd years, keeping us relevant, keeping us, even if they're talking trash, Wenger's done a phenomenal job, man, because our ownership at Arsenal is rotten. They don't care about football. But let me stop, because I can go all day about that. But I was watching the doc on Netflix, and you should check it out. It's pretty dope. And what else has been going on in the week of football in the world? There are talks that Paul Pogba may be packing his bags from Old Trafford and going to the Bernabeu. And obviously, it's just media talk at this time. But I tell you what, if I were Paul Pogba, I would pack my bags and I would go. And that's not an Arsenal fan wanting United to be weakened. But if I'm Paul Pogba, or if I'm one of his many brothers, I would tell him, listen, Mourinho is stifling you, bro. He doesn't know how to use you. You really want to play the 10 role. So if you go to Real Madrid, you're going to play in front of Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. And then you're going to have in front, they're probably going to get Harry Kane, and they might get Hazard, and then they'll have, who else do they want? Neymar? Mate, What are you waiting for? And Zidane is the manager? What are you waiting for, man? You better get your stuff, man. You don't even, matter of fact, you don't have to pack anything. Just leave it right there in Manchester. They can have it. And then you can just get on the plane and we'll go to Madrid ASAP. That's what I would do. Because, and in all honesty, to defend Mourinho, because I'm a fan, man, I love football more than anything, is that Mourinho's asking Pogba to play a little differently, a little deeper, a little bit more defensive responsibilities, and Pogba's struggling to handle that. And for a player of his stature, he should be able to carry out the assignments. But I think he's being a little petulant and being a little baby about it, and is trying to play his own game regardless of what the manager has said. And you don't do that with Mourinho. So, you know, I feel Mourinho, I feel Pogba. So I tell you what, to save everybody, Man United will get a lot of money. Man United will get a lot of money. And then Real Madrid will get a solid player that will suit them so much more, you know. And that's what Real Madrid want. They want the Galacticos, and Pogba should go and do that. I mean, I saw briefly today in their FA Cup game against Huddersfield, Juan Mata plays the 10 as well. Now, if you're a real footballer and you look at Pogba, you look at Juan Mata playing the 10, Juan Mata's better. Be honest. Juan Mata's better, bro. If you go back to the European Championships in France, Payet was better than Pogba as well. France did not need Pogba. They didn't need him. You know what I mean? So that's, I mean, let's not just play people based on the name. United look quite smooth today with Juan Mata underneath Lukaku and having Alexis on the left, and then I don't even know who was on the right. I didn't care to pay attention. So yeah, man, I'm telling you, that's what it is. Like, you know, Pogba can't really get that role that he wants, because even when he's in there, he's not really getting it done like Juan Mata gets it done. Juan Mata's good, bro. So that's that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things unfold as the season comes to an end. We have the World Cup coming up in the summer as well. So, you know, transfers and all that stuff's going to be real crazy. So, yeah. So that's what was taking place in the week. I'm trying to think. There was one other thing that I wanted to touch on. What was it? We talked about the Champions League. We talked about the Europa League. This is what we're going to end it with today, folks. So, my beloved Arsenal, you know, we have our own channel, Arsenal Fan TV, that inspired FCRB TV. And I tell you what, our right back, Hector Bellerin, has come out and said he is not a fan of Arsenal Fan TV, and he was quoted as saying, "How can you be a fan when your success comes from our failures? So you going out and bashing us after games that we don't play our best, you're over there, you know, hustling, making money." And you know, he's talking about, you know, people like Troops and DT, and Robbie's just the host. I hope he's not talking about Robbie. Robbie shouldn't take it personally. But that's how he felt about it. And he felt that, like, you know, they're not real fans. And, you know, I kind of understand where he's coming from, but I also understand where my fellow Gooners are coming from. Because being a professional footballer, you have to have thick skin, and you've got to know, in this day and age, especially with social media, that fans are gonna be able to get at you if you're not pulling your weight. I know that I bash Danny Welbeck all the time, and if Danny stumbles on this, I'm sorry, Danny, but mate, you don't score. You don't score. You want to play up the middle? You don't score, mate. That's why Van Gaal sold you. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I don't know if that's mean, but that's how I am when I'm analyzing Arsenal games. But he's got to be able to take that, and so does every other player all over the world, because your fan base now has access to you almost, where they can say things and it might get back to you. So Bellerin needs to get tougher about it. If I was playing for Arsenal and I knew Bellerin was going to go do that interview at Oxford, whatever, I would be like, man, don't say nothing about Arsenal Fan TV. You're going to look soft. Don't do that. Just talk about something else. Don't do it. But he said it now, and he has a point, because I do think people like Troops and DT, they say they want us to win, but they love to go ham when we don't win. They love to blast dudes, and they just go so hard. You know, like, I don't really go hard on Danny. I just said Danny ain't good. That's it. But they like, Troops especially just really likes to go. And what about Troops, DT, and it's always paper over the cracks, paper over the cracks. It's like, dude, shut up, dude. We won the game, all right? And you know we have cracks. Why you keep talking about it? Stan Kroenke is our owner. The man has put cracks all throughout our foundation. We know. Stop talking about it, especially when we've won a game. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. Paper over the cracks, you know? So if we go and beat Man City in the Mickey Mouse Cup final at Wembley on the 25th, I bet you he says something like that. Paper over the cracks. It's like, shut up, man. So that's what Hector had to say. And then, on Twitter, some of the other, quality Arsenal fans were saying that, like, you know what, he's entitled to his opinion, but again, he's got to be able to take it. And some of the Arsenal fans, we've got to be able to take it if, a player comes out and says, I don't like them, I don't listen to them, they're not real fans to me, stuff like that. So it was quite interesting that, Hector came out and gave us his 2 cents on Arsenal Fan TV. The world is quite, opinionated these days, and everybody has their 2 cents to give and put it out there. So, you just got to be tough about it and what's the name? Deal with it, give and take, Like, I mean, I'm probably one of Danny Welbeck's biggest critics. And if you don't like what I'm saying, man, score, dog. That's all you got to do. Score. Don't fan. I mean, I'm sure you've seen those montages of all your misses that people have made. Yes, that's quite bad, man. Yeah, and you're on a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, for what you're doing, they should give me the check. I could do that too. I might even kick it in the goal. So that's how it goes, man. So that was quite interesting in the week. Next week we've got, the second half of the second round of the Champions League. As we said, we've got Barca traveling to Stamford Bridge. We've got Bayern Munich traveling to Turkey to take on Besiktas. What else? Who else is playing? I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But we didn't talk about Liverpool hammering Porto. And I was quite shocked that Liverpool went to do Dragao and gave Porto 5-0. I'm like, come on, Porto. I know it was going to be tough because, let's be honest, Liverpool's front three, those, like, this dude. Okay, first of all, Firmino is like, every G scores like 85 grand. Every G scores. He's clever. He's got guile. He's savvy. He's swift. He's really good, man. I didn't know he was going to be this good. And then you have those two speed merchants in Sadio Mane, and this guy Salah is so fast. And for me, Salah, if he wasn't fast, he wouldn't even play in USL in America. But he's fast as all hell, and his left foot gets in front of it. Once the speed gets in front of the goal, and then his left foot is capable to put the ball somewhere. So with those three up front, Liverpool is dangerous. Yes, I expected them to win the game 2-1, 1-0, to draw, something like that. I thought that Porto would fight. You know, they've got some players over there at Porto that I rate highly. Hector Herrera, the Mexican international. He's actually the captain now of the Dragons there in Porto. And, you know, I watched a little interview on him as they were preparing for the arrival of Liverpool. And I was like, okay, he's the captain. He's saying that it's a big club and we have to represent ourselves well and give a good account. I was like, yeah. Then I got to practice and my man was like, yo, Liverpool won 5-0. I was like, oh. So big ups to Liverpool. Porto, don't know what happened, but them dudes are fast, and they probably didn't. Watching on video, they didn't know how fast they were. So. That's the little tidbit for Liverpool there. Oh yeah, Man City won too, but they played Basel. That was like a scrimmage. That was a friendly. Sorry, Basel, friendly. So so yeah, that was it in the week. Yeah, in the week of football. The youth lads at FC Red and Blacks trained in the week. They have their crossbar challenges up on the channel. And then we have and then we talked about the Champions League, Europa League. The possible transfer of Paul Pogba and Hector Bellerin and his feelings towards Arsenal Fan TV. So that was pretty much it there, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, a little side note: if you haven't seen it yet, go see Black Panther. It is phenomenal, pretty dope. So yeah, enjoy the weekend. And we'll have another weekly wrap-up next week as we finish out the Europa League and all that good stuff. All right? Be safe. Subscribe. Arsenal fan. FCRB TV. Ciao.